Hello, y'all. I'm back again. I take little hiatuses sometimes. Okay, so I wanted to do a mystery reading today to just reconnect with y'all energetically. I know that the last couple of videos weren't everyone's most favorite videos, but I would actually like to unpack that for us because here's the thing. Number one, the way that I communicate, and this is, first of all, we're going to unpack the difference between an excuse and a reason, because I know that in the neurotypical space, this tends to be misconstrued. So what I am about to say is not an excuse, it is a reason. The way in which I communicate is very direct. It's very honest. It's very transparent. I personally find that cushioning and the certain social cues and structures that exist within a neurotypical society are fake and inauthentic, and that is how and I will stand by that, actually, because arguably they are, and there are a lot of masks and a lot of having to say things a certain way so that someone feels more comfortable hearing the message. And while I understand that process, I don't personally feel that I do deliver messages in a way that comes off inconsiderate, honestly, because I feel like the more inconsiderate space would be to lie about the energy that comes into a reading and to spin it in a way that is more cushioned. That said, I think that tends to happen in the space of connections in particular, because a lot of those that are seeking these readings right now are often feminines who are dealing with a situation in which a masculine is not communicating, and then wanting to read between the lines, when in my personal opinion there are no lines to read between often. A masculine who is certain of a feminine will execute, they will pull the trigger, they will pursue, they will decide, they will put their foot down. And I know that there is a lot of indecisiveness that is going on in the dating world today, but we cannot put ourselves on hold for the indecision of others. And I will continue to remind you to choose yourself and to work on the relationship with yourself in that space. So what I decided is that maybe if connection comes up, or there feels a need to discuss connection, or it comes up in a mystery reading like what we're doing today, then we'll discuss it. But we're not going to do no contact readings, because it feels like to me that what people would rather hear is an excuse or a reason for the non-communication that might not be as transparent as it's needed to be stated. And I can only slice it so many ways before I begin to feel like a broken record, and I feel like I'm only providing those readings for personal benefit, because I would argue that doing those type of readings over and over again is literally only for the benefit of the reader who is making money off of it. And that just sounds like the devil's work, so we ain't gonna do that, sis. Okay, so today we're gonna do a mystery reading. I was mindful, y'all, because I know some of you cannot choose a card when it's not upright, but part of the mystery is not knowing what the card is, and those are my favorite to read, because we're going into this blindly, and then we're able to tap into the energy without any preconceived idea of what we're about to be talking about. So I love that method. I just threw some crystals up here. I don't know a lick about crystals, and I ain't gonna pretend to. So here's some pretty crystals for you to choose from. I don't know what they are, and these were all gifted to me, and I think they're pretty, and that's about all I know. Oftentimes people will tell me what they mean, but I would have to look them up in terms of what they mean. I know certain colors have different meanings or represent different chakras, but Crystals is just not my forte, really. It's not something I know a lot about. So I just chose these so that you had something to differentiate from, so that you could choose a pile. Okay, let's get into this. Should I do this in a different accent? No, let's not do that. All right, so group 1, group 2, and group 3. Take a moment to pause because these are going bye-bye now. Group 1. If you chose this pretty little red thing, this is your reading, and the card that you got is the Two of Pentacles. This deck, by the way, is the Hermetic Tarot deck. This was a viewer actually recommended this deck to me, and I love this deck. It's so sassy. It's very sassy. It matches my personality perfectly. I love it. So you have the Two of Pentacles. This, and what's cool about this is like the descriptions down at the bottom are not what I would are not in line with Standard Tarot and how Standard Tarot reads. This one is called Lord of Harmonious Change. So because that's the message coming up. And now the Two of Pentacles is something about balance. So like integrating those two things into your reading, I'm going to assume that your mystery reading is about a change that is creating balance in your life. I think we'll just go down the, what do we got here? Let's do the Standard Tarot for you, which is right in front of me. And then I have everybody's favorite here on the side, the Pulp Tarot as well, which we can come in with as a reading. So let's figure out what your mystery reading is about. And what's interesting is the energy in this space is a bit mysterious, honestly. Not much of a hit, a little bit tranquil, honestly. So maybe you are stepping into a space or a time right now where you are feeling a bit more balanced, or that's moving into alignment with you. You know what? Before we do that, let's get you an energy card. Let's get you a couple of these. I haven't pulled out this Wisdom Tarot, Wisdom Oracle in a while, so we'll actually get you some energy check-ins just so you know that this is your reading. What is the energy check-in? What is the energy, excuse me, for group 1? Let's see if we can, oh boy. Okay, you got all the things on the mind. I swear I just saw one flip over inside the deck. Yes, what do we have here? By the book, okay? It's like you're doing something the right way, or falling in line with a system, or even traditionalism. I tend to find is by the book. I also, just as somebody who has recently reconnected with God, you may be somebody who is following religion, could be, or religion could be at the forefront. You have Yang. Ooh, it almost makes me want to do another card just to see if Yin falls out. All that like duality already existing in this reading. Something here too is that I noticed is that this is a male elephant, a female elephant, and a child. So this could be something or a situation dealing with family or the family unit. Or also, I would like to also state that the male is leading in this bunch. And then we have serendipity. And that could be something that would be traditionally by the book, where the masculine is leading. You a trad. Is that the terminology now? If you are young, I think it would be in a good time period and space to move into traditional values, just paying attention to men's, I follow a lot of male content and content that is created for men, and they are heavily discussing equality and mutual respect right now in the dialect for men, or the masculine energy. So tapping into that now and moving into more of those traditional values really does open up your options as a feminine energy, in my personal opinion. And I'm much older and wiser than I was years ago, and I wish I would have known all that I know today then. We're just going to keep going on energy here, and then kind of figure out what we have going on. You have bless and regeneration coming out. So I do feel like bless and serendipity, whatever is going on in the moment, you are feeling a sense of balance. Perhaps within self, you could be even stepping into this energy within yourself that allows you to kind of move into a more soft space as a feminine, and are kind of going through this. Something about the regeneration card that I feel is really interesting is that it's really dark, but what's coming down upon it is all this light illuminating. So you may be even in a space of downloading information regarding this particular topic. Or you could be kind of like, oh, what do I want to say? Kind of washing away some maybe negative aspects surrounding how you view balance, how you view equal give and take, how you view your relationship with self and others. So kind of a rebirth in a sense. And then you have the fates, which I always feel like is divine intervention, divine timing, but also, oh my goodness, something that recently I have been thinking a lot about, actually, is divine timing, and how, and putting things in God's hands, depending on how you view or whatever your religious view is, but just allowing things to happen without forcing. Because when we force something, we inadvertently sort of we invite resistance in, and where there is resistance, there's usually something to be learned about self or about the situation. And in this space, it seems like you have, just because you have building blocks, you have by the book, and this regenerative energy, I do feel like whatever is occurring is in the energy around you is sort of it's a space of learning, but it's also a space of softening. I do see like this is a lot of really feminine, really soft, really tranquil, really nurturing, inviting energy that is existing in this space. It's really grounded and humble, I guess. I don't know how to explain what humble feels like, but it's just a safety, which is really interesting, because I was just reminded of this quote that I saw this morning, where it said, "I'm working on being the safe space for you to take your armor off." And I feel like in this group, this is something that is going to really resonate with you, because I don't think it's always been being in this femininity. You could have actually been in a space where, or could be in a space where this is breaking down, and this like softening is sort of coming to the surface. and really tending to understand how to achieve this equal give and take space, how to move into connections with others that are balanced, that are safe, that are tranquil, that are serendipitous and feel like a blessing. Whatever is going on right now feels very faded. And I do think this could arguably be about a connection. I know in the beginning I stated that we weren't going to talk about that unless it came up, but I will say this could have been triggered by a connection, or this could be about you being in a space right now, in the now, with someone who maybe is showing up as seeming as though they are a counterpart. We'll see what the cards say. Or it does feel a lot more like you are building into self the space to be a counterpart. It's really more so of a period, or of looking at this energy as really oh gosh, I just had Que Sera Sera in my head. Whatever will be, the future's not ours, you see. Yeah. Where you're kind of in a surrender almost, which is really beautiful. I think I hit surrender. I just got chills, especially with this serendipity card, where she's she's grabbing a hold of luck essentially, and just going with the wind, or where the wind takes her. So this feels as though it is a moment of surrendering to a space of femininity, or a softness within self. Okay, so if that feels like your energy, then let's move forward and see what the mystery reading has for you today. Traditional tarot, I said, right? Yeah, we'll go trad. Trad. I don't know, why do I say that like that? It's such a weird word when it comes out that way. Doesn't it sound strange? Just say traditional. Why are we shortening words? All right. What is the mystery message for group 1? What do they need to hear today? What's going on? Tell us things, please. Wow. That's a whole bunch. I'm going to pull out Death as it came out on top. I've worked with this deck before. It's relatively new, and it definitely, you know what I was just gonna say is that cards do not fly out of this deck and then the Fool is like yes we do. Hierophant, Page of Wands. Okay, so I do really feel like this is a space. Ooh, and the Queen of Cups. Bottom of the deck, you have the Three of Swords. We'll clarify this. Actually, clarify this. Three of Swords. This right here feels like past energy. Yeah, because you have this Two of Wands also coming up on the bottom of the deck. So we'll get into this because I feel like this is the sort of ending here, this whatever is going on here. Anyway, what I was going to say is that I do feel like we're in a space of new beginning. This is, if you are interested in the zodiac on this card, this is Scorpio. This is a transformative space. Now, Scorpio energy goes through an awful lot of transformations if they connect into it, if they choose to, take the, what do I want to say? Take the ticket. Buy the ticket, take the ride. Okay, anyway. And part of that transition is really moving from a space of a little bit more of a rigid center, where in sort of the infant stages of the Scorpio energy, it is a lot of it's a little bit more of a combative space, where there's like a hard shell, and they'll kind of come in and they'll make a real big dig and then run away, and then I think it moves into what is next, like the eagle and then the phoenix, and then it ends on the dragon, right? Very transformative energy. A lot of Taurus north nodes go through this. So, you know, if you have a north node in Taurus, which there's a large, you know, body of people who have similar north nodes, this could be something that you would relate to. And a part of the transitionary space is stepping into self. That all could relate to this. So there's some sort of ending that has occurred that has catapulted a new beginning. And this doesn't have to be the ending of a connection. I really want to say that this feels a lot more like it is the ending of a belief pattern or a belief system or a pattern of behavior in how we operate within, specifically within dealing with connections or dealing with people. So to me, this right here, this new beginning has a lot more to do with stepping into individual power. But it also could be an energy kind of coming in to shake that up a little bit. There is forward progression that is occurring in this space with the Fool here, as well as the Page of Wands, which is so interesting though, because you also have the Hierophant, which but you know what, this could talk about traditionalism. So it's kind of like moving into a space. The Fool and the Death card have very similar, you know, at their core, they have kind of similar values or meanings, because they're both essentially about new beginnings, but the Death card is far more about transformative energy, whereas the Fool card is a lot more about taking risks, or even diving blindly into something. You know, at some, you know, he's jumping off a cliff with like only whatever he has in his hands, you know, just, I don't even think he can fit an outfit in that bag. I don't know what he has in his bag that he's taking with him, but he's like, fuck it, we're going. Jumping off this cliff. And so you could have somebody coming in with this energy, but it really does feel more so like this is a you, like this is a me moment, I guess, where this is a lot more about you sort of stepping into something, stepping into self. And I'm gonna argue here that what you're stepping into is a more traditional space, on sort of a more what do I want to say this, a more traditionally feminine space, being a bit more nurturing and a bit more soft and a bit more appreciative or open or inviting, is all sort of the space that this is moving towards. And which is interesting too, because you have at the end space here is this compassion, nurturing energy that comes in with the Queen of Cups. So it's kind of, you know, when you read it as a timeline, it's kind of going this way. And if you see the bottom of the deck as, you can read the bottom of the deck in two ways. So you can read the bottom of the deck as past energy, because it's at the bottom, you know, it's underneath it all. Or it can be overarching energy. In this space, this seems as though the bottom of the deck is a part of the transitionary process of what happened in the past impacting today. So some heartbreak that occurred in the past, perhaps even dealing with energies that were emotionally unavailable, while the King of Swords is a king, and he's very disciplined, and he's very you know, he could even be communicative, but I would almost argue that it's somewhat authoritative, or even, what is a better word for this? Strategic, I guess. And so it would be masterfully so at that. So this could have been energies in the past that you were dealing with that kind of had this, and it's kind of, it's like, it is kind of putting your foot down in that space and stepping into a new way of looking at relationships, or a new way of looking at connections with others, in which we are stepping outside of, I guess, remaining in spaces where we aren't feeling an emotional connection to somebody. And this is something that the feminine actually really requires, is a emotional connection. So, you know, when we have the absence of that, the feminine tends to seek that, and could end up in a space of inadvertently seeking validation or seeking attention from emotionally unavailable masculines. And that could be this, you know, space, especially when we kind of look at this Two of Wands here, and we can see this as a space of, I see it anyway, as a space of putting down the past and looking at a forward trajectory, making some sort of progress in life, and seeing a bigger picture that is laying out before you, is sort of the space in which I would argue the Two of Wands sits in. I am already losing my voice. This is something I was worried about, because I had a lot of sessions this last week. I'm a photographer, and so there was a lot of conversation, and I've been also having like long conversations with a friend, and I was kind of worried about losing my voice in this, but okay, let's see. I mean, I really feel like that the reading aspect of this, the tarot part, is sort of reiterating what the energy was coming in and feeling like, but it's more of like, this is what's happening, this is what's occurring. So it's kind of laying out the groundwork on what you have going on. Perhaps this is even a like affirming space for you, where it's kind of showcasing to you that this pathway that you are taking and putting down this is bringing you into a new beginning within self. You could even be in a space of stepping into seeing the potential in this, stepping into seeing, planning more so into the future than you are in the now, and maybe moving into a space of understanding the steps that it would take. For some reason, I'm feeling compelled to mention that you do have some energies out here on the board. I already mentioned that you have Scorpio here. You do also have earth signs, so Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, and then the Hierophant is Taurus energy. The Queen of Cups is Gemini and Cancer energy. Then you have the Three of Swords as Libra energy, which actually would make a lot of sense, because this Libra energy tends to be in a space of indecisiveness. And so if you were dealing with indecision or something that felt indecisive in the past with these sort of emotionally unavailable energies, that would make a lot of sense. And the King of Swords is also Taurus and Gemini energy. So let's move into, well, now that we know what's going on twice, let's be more specific on what is it that we need to know in this situation, really. Let's see, what can we ask here? something about these mystery readings is that I should probably have a layout in which I am a little bit more cohesive. Something probably maybe coming in quickly. I saw that. Could be a lot. It could be even connecting in with a new energy. And that could explain a lot of this, you know, being in this sort of seeing things differently. I do feel like the right masculine can soften any feminine. Okay. All right. What is going on, or what does, hold up. What do I, how are we going to ask this question? I'm so sorry, group 1 space. You are like my little guinea pigs where I learn how to read for the rest of the group when I do a mystery reading. Okay, so we have... Oh, really? So there's something that you're not seeing, or an offer could have came in recently. That's funny. I was like, I don't know what to ask, and the cards were like, oh, for Christ's sakes, we'll do it for you. Okay, this is a mystery reading. After all, this guy is peeking out here. Oh, the Emperor is peeking out. Hello, Daddy. Okay, all right. Okay, okay. Oh, for heaven's sakes. There's the Ten of Cups. We're going to have a delusional moment. Okay. What is that? What's that one reader? Oh, God. What's her name? Shadowplay Tarot. She says, Delulu checkpoint. This might be that. King of Cups upside down. Hold on. How do you go? Maybe he is upside down. All right. What else we got? One more for this, and we'll clarify that King of Cups in reverse too. And the Page of Cups. Oh, oh, interesting. You know what? I wonder, group 1, if this is representative of multiple energies, because I don't think that the Emperor would represent the same person as the King of Cups in reverse, or even the Page of Cups in reverse. Something you're not seeing. What is this about? Explain. Be more clear with me, please. What is this all about? The Sun and the Hermit. Oh, have you been in a time or like a space of a little bit of I don't want to say pessimism, but what's the right not depression isn't the right word either. It's more like hopelessness. If you've been in a space of maybe being in a bit isolated or withdrawn or distant or feeling lonely, okay. Y'all, like sometimes the cards just need, like, y'all need to be so transparent with me. What the heck are we talking about here? Okay. And then you have the Two of Cups on the bottom of the deck. So if you have been in a space in which you've been sort of isolating or have, yeah, just kind of withdrawing. And it could be honestly in regards to these energies that are a bit more emotionally unavailable. They're cold or distant. They could even seem manipulative, or that they're just sort of, toying with you. This is like the energy that just is, they pop in and they seem really curious about you, and then it just fizzles out really quickly. This could have put you in a space of even bitterness, honestly, like a little bit, but just really looking inward on things that maybe needed to be tweaked within self a bit, and spending some time in isolation. And I do feel like what's going on in this moment, I think that these three things, like what you're not seeing, are connected here. But it's walking away a bit from disappointments that you would have experienced in previous situations. Using those, like the disappointments, as a space of moving into pessimism in a little bit, just going, I'm just kind of throwing your hat in this, or what is the right word, like throwing your hands in the air essentially, and just feeling like, I'm done. We done. Kind of moving into that energy a little bit, where it's just a fed up space of going, I don't want to deal with that anymore. I don't want to keep essentially sacrificing myself, begging for attention in these areas, and kind of posing the question, what does that say about self? And I don't know if we necessarily saw it that way in that moment, but it was just like then sort of taking yourself off the market a little bit, or putting yourself in a space where it's just closing yourself off to availability. Now, however, I think that what's going on, or what's coming into your line of vision, or what is being brought to you, is this new beginning surrounding the idea of connection in particular. Being in a space of understanding how we operate in within mutual respect, and that equal give and take space. This could be lining you up for this emperor type energy, or you have an emperor in your awareness already as someone who is a true match for you. This would be somebody who has what I tend to find is that within connections, what we typically connect into and end up committing to tends to be those who match our intellectual IQ more so than other spaces. When we move into connections in which it's just a physical space, it's actually a breeding grounds for toxicity. And so when it's just a physical connection, this can really put us in a space of dealing with a lot of absence of emotional availability. And so I think that this is something that you're walking away from, or there's a new beginning because of an energy perhaps coming in. For some of you, I'm not even sure that this energy is quite yet in awareness for you, just because it's moving sort of from a space of you perhaps even still being a little bit focused on this emotional unavailable energy here, and not seeing what an emperor is or how an emperor operates, and having that come in. For others of you, there could be somebody coming into your awareness or in your immediate surroundings who is a match for you. This is Aries energy too, so they could seem very passionate. They could seem very passionate about you, very interested in you. They could have a lot of structure or stability in their life, or seem to have it mostly together, or have it together, and they're willing to dance with you. They're willing to meet you where you are, and willing to put you into their focus or into the line of vision. Oftentimes these other energies here, good grief, there is, what is this? I haven't seen a fly in so long, and then there's a fly coming in. Why? What is it? What are y'all attracted to over here? Like, where do you come from? And why are you here? My ADHD does not like that one bit. It gets so distracted, I swear. I've literally touched him like a few times now. He's a horrible fly. Okay, sorry. Good grief. These energies here, what the hell was I saying? Oh, good grief. See what happened? They're distracting, you know? Honestly, they do. They distract. That's what, thank you, fly. These energies here do kind of distract you from your trajectory of being able to build it within self, because they can really knock you off balance and put you into this position of self-doubt even, or looking at yourself as though there's something wrong with you because these energies are not giving into this. I just realized that these might be too low. They're not giving into this connection with you. They're not meeting you halfway. And this is kind of opening you up to understanding how an emperor type energy works and operates, and essentially moving into space of deciding for yourself that this is going to be something that this is what you're looking for when it comes to a connection with others, is that you want people that are stable. You want them to match you in intellectual and emotional IQ. And this is what's going to bring you ultimately into that sort of divine, harmonious energy within a person and in a relationship. I don't know that many of you are, goodness, here's the train. Hello. Welcome to the reading. Now, for some of you, you could perhaps be dealing with someone who maybe you're considering might be this emperor type energy. But for a lot of you too, I feel like you might even be in a space of in between, where you're not really in a connection, but the connections that you've been dealing with have been really lackluster, or have even kind of knocked you off balance or made you feel a certain way. And now we're kind of stepping outside of that and into a new beginning within understanding really what we should be accepting for ourselves, as for all people. We should all be into a space of wanting to connect with others in a space where you match in emotional and intellectual IQ, and you have mutual attraction, all of those things. Oftentimes these energies here, these like over here, tend to be connections that are so based on the physical side of things, and the emotional side tends to be neglected in that space. And so these energies really tend to rely on a much more superficial space. And these are the type of masculines that care more about arm candy than they do about emotional IQ. And while I think all masculines care about that to some extent, not all of them, but quite a few of them care about that to some extent. I think men are very visual creatures and tend to look at things as to how good it'll make them look. I also would argue there are many masculines who are moving into a space of really also kind of wanting to be met with mutual respect as well. With these energies over here, these ones that are kind of emotionally unavailable don't tend to realize is that what they are doing is sort of opening the space for pettiness, without being clearly communicative. these energies over here, these masculine energies, the Emperor energy here is much more inclined to understand how to communicate with the feminine energy without her emotional body taking over and her moving into the space of assumption. This is somebody who perhaps even understands the feminine energy a bit as a masculine. So this is a really weird reading. I just feel like we're just repeating the same thing. Let's see if we can pull out another deck. What's your advice here in this situation? Pull out the Pulp Fiction for you. What is the advice here for group 1? Take a nap. That's what I just felt inclined to tell myself. I actually got a good night's sleep last night. I don't know what is going on. I'm trying to transition into, it's the first week of school this week. So I'm trying to transition into, here's that Emperor here. He's like, there is an Emperor. I just feel like there's an Emperor around you. There's an Emperor type energy, or there's someone introducing you to how an Emperor operates right in your energy. You may even know who this person is. And I really would feel that Hermit that popped out. I think that's more representative to you. I think you've kind of been in a space where you just are like, no thanks. Okay. What's the advice here in this situation for group 3? Because I'm not really, I just feel like it's kind of reiterating the same thing over and over again. Maybe you just need this hammered into you. I don't know. Like, or it could be just confirmation that you're on the right path. You know, that's always. Look at that Queen of Wands with her little black cat. You may have previously felt like you were in a space of competition or having to compete for the attention of someone. And I think you're really stepping into this understanding that we don't compete. There's that King of Swords. What is the advice here? Yeah, you know, it even could be like if you are kind of still in this, like you could be in a space right now of kind of understanding all of this or waking up to all this, or it just kind of being downloaded to you, even in this reading or in the readings that you're listening to. And so I think you are kind of moving outside of the space of, it's like turning your back on energies that would make you feel like you need to compete for their affection. Or could be placing you in competition with other energies who are interested in them, and just, you know, choosing to remove yourself from that scenario. Because again, this King of Swords is quite strategic. Whereas the Queen of Wands is much more passionate and much more sensual, and which is very interesting, because I would argue that the King of Wands would really move from a space that would want that, but not a whole lot of communication though from these King of Swords types energy. Not a lot of good communication. Here you go, the Ten of Pentacles and the Star, and then the King of Pentacles on the bottom of your deck. So kind of comparing these two here. And really this reminder too of stepping into your own individual power. Goodness. Why is that a thing? Sometimes summer just drives me nuts living where I live. Okay. Yeah, so again, I think that the advice here is it really kind of is this reminder that you might be on the right path, or if you're waking up to this and seeing that you have perhaps been placed in this position with a masculine energy who would fall into the category of being emotionally unavailable, a bit unstable even, or just very non-communicative, or seems to be in the expectation that if you want their attention, you're going to have to fight for it kind of energy, and you kind of just going, like, this is all of that there. And I think you're just kind of like, nah, we're going to step outside of this, because what I really need is balance. And I need someone who can come in and who can provide a bit more stability than what this, you know, King of Swords type energy is able to provide. Also, I think it's more important too to understand that what I am willing to give into a connection is what I hate the word deserve, but is what I should expect to receive in return, more so. And sometimes I think that feminine energies in particular do move into a space of expectation within connections. And so one of the things that we inadvertently fall into is the expectation of being met with his potential rather than the reality of who he is. And this could be in an acceptance era for you, moving into understanding that what you've been tolerating is sort of the idea of someone and not so much the reality of who they are. And moving in then into that acceptance and choosing to step outside of that narrative, and choosing to step outside of being in that space with those types of energies. So that is what I have for you today, Group 1. I would argue that this is a really great space to be in terms of connections if you've been dealing with these types of connections. So keep moving forward, continue to choose yourself, and understand what it is that you are able to provide and deserve in unison to what you can give to others. Okay, Group 1, if this sounds or if this resonated with you, excuse me, please do leave me a comment down below. Let me know how this resonated with you. If you are new here, I'd love to see you come back. So if you can subscribe, and as always, liking the video really helps with getting this into the hands of more people to be able to view these readings as well. And so we appreciate your part in helping that process, as building the channel is the ultimate goal. Thank you so much for being here, Group 1. Enjoy the rest of your day. Group 2. Hello, Group 2. Oh, I think this is a bit of a giddy energy, which, you know what, it kind of explains this little, I don't know what this is, honestly. I should really learn these things, but y'all, like, I have so many hats on my head. I will someday learn crystals, perhaps, maybe, I don't know. But this one, I wish I knew what it meant. One of my friends gave it to me. I do think it has something to do with abundance, but I'm not really sure, honestly. I just know that it's pretty. And so if you chose this pretty little rock crystal thing, this is your reading anyway. Okay? Hello, Group 2. Let's see what you got. What you got? You have... Is that Scorpio energy? You have Lord of Pleasure. You have the Six of Cups. Perhaps talking about equal give and take. We will tap actually into your energy first and do an energy check-in with you. Right off the bat, Group 2, this energy is playful. It's very sensual. You feeling some type of way, Group 2. Are you in your feels a little bit? This is very... how do I word this? Okay, this is so like, maybe perhaps inappropriate. I don't know. But just seeing like the, goodness, I don't know where I'm going with this. The like overflowing emotions here. It's like this has something to do with. We're just gonna go there. It's about like sexual tension or sensual energy or something of that nature. It's giving all of those vibes in this moment. It's feeling very like giddy, very playful, very sensual, very erotic. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, all right. Anyway, let's go. Hello, group 2. This is interesting energy. All right, what we got going on? What's your energy for group 2, please? What is the energy for group 2? You might have some other things going on. So this energy here, this Six of Cups energy could be really perhaps a distraction from that a little bit. Because you, oh boy. Well, hey, you know what? Group 1 got these too. They perhaps could be connected in with group 1 on the other end of things if you are dealing with perhaps another energy. For some of you, not all of you. What else do we have? Observer. Okay, and then one more. You might be going through a really transformative process as well. Yeah, oh, here we are, a change in the wind. I love when that happens. Time for a nap. This is really funny. Group 1, because in the end of the last reading, I said it's time for a nap because it was like a message to self, which is weird because I had I actually had a good night's sleep, but I don't know. However, this is a different energy. It kind of puts you on the upswing. Group 1 was a little bit more like, sitting down to have like a conversation, like a nurturing conversation with from an older, like wiser woman to a woman stepping into herself kind of thing. This energy here is like it has been something kind of going on that I wouldn't necessarily say you're distracting yourself from, but there could be something that is it's a good distraction. Okay, it's taking you out of perhaps being in this space of some anxiety that you have surrounding things that you have going on in your, like you're in your personal world, or things that have been going on with things really outside of your control, more so. It's like, because it is this space of like really understanding that there's something perhaps in your environment or something in your in the space around you that really needs kind of not necessarily dissected, but you need to kind of it needs cleaned up here, right? It's kind of out with the old, in with the new. And you are in this like sort of transformative process, this space of like really letting go of any baggage or anything that would be hanging on to you. But I think this energy that you have right now, I don't want to say it's distracting you from those things that you have in the maybe background going on, but I think it is more helping you through it. It's like a guy, like someone, it is sort of like you being hand delivered a certain tranquility, or being hand delivered a softness and a nurturing sort of energy that has been brought to you, kind of. And this is creating at least some change in how you're feeling about yourself. It's perhaps grounding you even into feeling just more calm, or more like, okay, I can do this, I got this, I am, kind of just being in a space of breathing and seeing how this other stuff plays out, and then feeling really grateful for this, whatever this energy that is kind of there, helping guide you through this. Currently, whatever is going on, I don't think you're like super roped into it. I think you are in a space of looking at the, how do I want to word this? It's almost, this observer thing isn't necessarily about looking outside of self. It is seeing how this energy creates change for how you feel about self, is more so what you're observing in this moment. It's like you're meeting yourself, or being in a space in which you're seeing how this moment and how this energy that you're in or dealing with is helping to cushion all this other stuff that you have going on around you. It's kind of the energy. Now, you could be connecting in with an energy that is a counterpart or a match, or is even balanced, or that you feel really blessed to have met, or to be in a, in, why do I want to say in cahoots with? I don't know why that is the word that I was like, cahoots, really? But again, there is this like tension here. So there is some kind of like something brewing, or something forming, or some kind of like feelings coming to the surface. Okay, that is the energy. Let's get into what's going on in this mystery reading for you. What is going on? What is this? What does group 2 need to know? What does group 2 need to know in this moment? Please and thank you. All right, what do we got? Something that you are sort of taking into, you may have a little apprehension, may have been in a space of building some boundaries, but it's kind of like withstanding. What is the right word here? Why can't I think of the right word to say? Oh my goodness. It's not the same as persevering. It is, oh my gosh. Do you have trouble connecting to words? It's like weathering. Thank you. Like weathering the storm. You've been in a space of just like dealing, okay? Whatever is going on though, in the, whatever you're being faced with in this moment is placing you in a space of some indecision surrounding, or even having some difficult decisions lying ahead of you. There's a conflict card. I think this is all that stuff that's kind of going on in the background. I don't know if this is necessarily connected into that energy. There's that balance card coming in. This could be that energy that's kind of in the background. Hold on, let's get you one more. Yeah, because then at the end of this, you have the 9 of Cups coming in, which is like a very wish fulfilling space. So like an energy coming into your awareness, or you building an awareness into an energy in which, here we go. This is Judgment and the 2 of Cups on the bottom of the deck. A word. So anyway, there's some conflict that has been going on in the background. There's something that you have going on. This could even be a space of feeling like you're competing for something. But it's more so, I don't really think of it, it could be that, but it's more so feeling as though there's been some kind of conflict, there's been some sort of storm, some sort of space that you've just been dealing with and kind of just having to deal with. It's not really, it's kind of a space of being sort of stuck in it, or just, you know, I don't think coping is the right word, but it's more so just enduring in a sense, but not really having a choice. Okay, whatever this is, I swear I haven't seen a fly. Like, I have not seen a fly all week, and then I sit down to do a reading, and where do you come from and why? I think maybe it's this spray. I don't know. Ugh, so frustrating. Okay. And it's slightly, it like feels embarrassing. Like, it feels like I should be embarrassed by it, but I don't know why. But anyway, enough of that. It's yeah, it's just being in this, even in a space. There could be something that you've been avoiding within this, like some sort of tension, some sort of, it could be a conflict within self, even a being in a space of sort of not wanting to deal with something or not wanting to face something that's in front of you, sort of putting it off or procrastinating, and then, you know, having this going on in the background. Then there's something that's coming in that's kind of bringing you up a little bit out of that like very stagnant energy, a energy or a situation or a opportunity that is coming into your line of vision that is bringing this into balance. This puts you into a bit more, it's putting you into a bit more of a hopeful space, a little bit more you know, of feeling like you're stabilizing, feeling a lot more content, or feeling a lot more hopeful about life or about things that you have going on around you. It is sort of even this like a rebirth energy. You had that regeneration. You have judgment here, which does talk a little bit about a new phase in life, kind of that gauntlet coming down where it to me, it tends to come after. It is like, it's the opposition. You know how they say the calm before the storm? It's more so that it's like the calm after the storm. It's like the aftermath of that, and then I'm bringing into a new awareness. This is a lot more about an awakening within self than it has anything to do with more of a rebirth. And this is moving you into a space in which you're feeling connected into something else outside of yourself. It doesn't always have to be love with this Two of Cups, but oftentimes it is. Oftentimes it's just another energy that's coming in that is being very affectionate towards you, loving towards you, nurturing or supporting the connection in a way that feels mutual. And so you could be moving into a position with somebody like that in this moment. And that could be why you're in this like very horny energy. I don't know. Okay, so what else do we have for you? Group 2. Group 2. Let's peek into this positive energy. What is this? What is this uplifting energy that is coming in around? Is that too wordy of a question? How do I ask this? What is the good energy surrounding Group 2. What are these positive vibes coming in? What is this energy that's coming into Group 2's reading? Or who is this? That's always an option too. Explain the good vibes, please. What is this energy that's coming into the Group 2 space, please? No strength coming out. Hold on, we'll get into this. Oh boy. Let me get one more out for like, what is, let's just do like an overall card. Overall energy for this, please. Like, what is the whole thing? The whole vibe. We'll go with, okay, fine. Bottom of the deck, you have the 3 of Pentacles. Okay, so I feel like what's kind of going, whatever has happened has kind of caught you by surprise. I don't think you were really expecting this in this space. So that's something that I feel like is just, there's a newness to this, where this seems like it's something that came out of left field, and it's taking you away from old patterns of behavior or old ways of looking at things. So this would have been, it's kind of acting in a timeline. Like you would have perhaps been dealing in spaces where there was a whole lot of procrastination happening. I don't feel like for all of you this has to do with a connection. Just going to say that outright, is that for a lot of you this is much more about like some personal endeavor, but others of you this has something to do with a connection. Okay, so we'll kind of read it to where it should hopefully transfer over for both of you. But this would have been dealing with just, it really would have been in a space of not doing what needs to be done. Okay, so it's far more of a procrastination space, or being, and this could be in terms of executing something for around the stuff that was going on around you, or within your connections with others on sort of spaces that you may have been accepting something that you perhaps didn't deserve in a certain situation, or it just wasn't mutual. It wasn't a mutual respect. It wasn't operating from a space in which there was kindness and compassion, or you were being met where you were at. But also there's an avoidance factor into this particular reading as well. So there's something that had been being avoided, and then really having to build sort of the courage to move through that thing, or just step into your own power and be like, all right, I got to deal with this. I have to do the thing. And then walking away or transforming or moving into this transitionary space of really, having to move more into a space of weighing your options. And then it's like something just was like, it's like while you were so busy here, just kind of like, oh, what do I do? Like, how do I look at this? And it's like almost planning or strategizing in a way on like how to move away from whatever you had going on and moving into this new beginning. Something comes in that is like abrupt. It's like a sudden upheaval. And I don't ever see the tower as bad, but I just see it as like, it's something that you weren't expecting. Okay. Coming in and just like shaking things up a little bit. And this, whatever this was, though, it just moved you then into this different energy where you were kind of here and in this space. And then it was like, now it's like you're wanting to give in to something, or wanting to, you're feeling a lot more emotionally open in a certain situation. Or if you are a feminine energy, this is feeling like, your hard work is really paying off. Or even if you are a masculine energy, this is moving into a space of seeing the hard work, or seeing the lessons coming into fruition, and moving more into this fulfilling energy within a connection with other person or within this environment and situation, understanding as well as that the overarching theme of your whole reading talks about equal give and take with that Six of Cups, right? And it's also the Lord of Pleasure, right? But this is like understanding that if I want to receive XYZ, I need to give XYZ. So this is also moving into an understanding that teamwork makes the dream work, right? And so you're really learning something in this space about how effective giving is, and what you can receive in that space. So I don't know. That is so I don't know. Yeah. I'm so trustworthy as a reader. Yeah, just listen to me. Okay. I don't know. That's very promising. But I mean, yeah, that is kind of like what's going on in this scenario and situation. It was like, it's, you know, I don't want to repeat it, but that is sort of this energy that then you stepped into. I think this is new, and I think that it came in really unexpectedly. You were not really anticipating this moment and how this moment made you feel. And you know, it could be even like looking at it, you could even be in this space of contemplating really walking away from an old way of looking at things and moving into a new space. And this is shaking everything up for you, because it's just you're just seeing things differently and seeing how valuable whatever this new thing that has occurred is really offering into your life, and really wanting to give into it. So it's like really, whatever this is, it's really fulfilling, which I think is wonderful too for you, group 2, because I feel like in previous spaces, y'all have been just a little bit drugged through the mud and I've hated that for you, but I haven't wanted to lie or pretend that, you know, energy was reading differently than it was. And now I think we kind of understand that, because I do think you're in a bit of like, you know, that mucky energy. But remember that in order for a lotus flower to bloom and to blossom into what it becomes, it actually grows in the mud. So that's something that to consider and to think about, that if you have things going on in your life that are really feeling like rocky, or they're really shaking things up for you, those are all spaces and opportunities for you to learn something. And sometimes it's like, if you're learning lessons the right way, divine timing comes in and it's like, okay, like it almost grants you blessings or opportunities to move differently. And so this space, it's like granting you this sort of you know, optimism or this new beginning in a way that is, in a sense, it's like a congratulations from the universe or something in terms of that, you know, matching into the energy that you're giving out. Okay, we'll get out the Pulp Tarot and see what the advice for you in this moment is. Pulp Tarot. Everybody loves the Pulp Tarot, so that's why we're going to bring out these Beyond Boys. I opened this right up to Temperance, as well as the Eight of Cups. So the Eight of Cups is like, yeah, walking away from old patterns of thinking, walking away from that which is no longer serving us. I did see that Ace of Wands come out. This could be a passionate new beginning. They're also coming through as the Star, which I think is really important for you as well, group 2, because oftentimes I feel like it's in this space in particular that there's a little bit of self-doubt that kind of ruminates in this energy here a little bit. And seeing y'all step into your power is something that I personally love for you and would love to see more of occurring in the group 2 space that tends to fall into this particular collective. So watching you step into your power, watching you step into an awareness of your individual value as a person. And remember, we're all of value as humans, but what happens is we tend to teeter into having a lot of self-doubt as well along that way, and not seeing our individual value, or not seeing ourselves as important, and all people are important, but all people are not self-aware. And so if you move into that awareness, then you definitely are moving into the star space. And this could have been something that took you a second, you know, it could have taken you some time to step into, to understand about yourself, that you are a diamond in the rough. There's that star, like, just reminding you, like, don't forget it. I said what I said. The other day, a group 2 space was like, I think I like some sugar with my medicine. And before I tapped into this reading today, I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, medicine go down. I hope this is better for y'all. All right, what's the advice here for group 2? I did just feel like there was a little bit that we missed out on this energy of this sensuality. So I don't know if we're about to talk about that, because it just gave me, like, I just thought about it, and usually when that happens. 6 of Cups here coming out, as which is the overall theme, I guess, of your reading. There's something that you put down. There's some sort of idea, some sort of thing that you just... Hold on, let's get out the rest of the cards. What else do we have for the advice for group 2, please? Wow, just throw these all out. I'll pull out the one on top. Okay, fine. All right, fine. Okay, all right, let's do it all. These all flew out, so they were like, we want to be here. Also, someone mentioned that they wanted to be able to see the cards better. I swear, I hope I'm making y'all happy. If not, good grief. It's hard to make everybody happy. Queen of Wands on the bottom of the deck. That's the energy that we're talking about, just so we know. Like, there's something going on, something brewing. Justice coming in. Okay, and then you have the Lovers here, as well as the High Priestess. And the 9 of Cups. So the advice here is that there's something like in your past, okay? Something that it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a situation, but in some ways it can be a perspective. Oftentimes when emotions and mind is involved, so you have Cups and Swords here for the sort of like, maybe not necessarily negative cards, but the more serious cards, I guess, that are coming out in your reading in this space, is this Ace of Swords in reverse and this 5 of Cups. There could have been something that you're dealing with in your past that you're kind of walking away from, some loss that you experienced, some grief. Yes, out there with the distractions. You're snuffing out distractions. Okay, sorry. But yeah, it's something in your past, like some sort of grief that you had, some sort of loss even, or something that really took a hold of you. Okay, something that took a hold of your life, that kind of put you in a space, a little bit of limbo, right? And that energy of not necessarily stagnancy, but of that weathering the storm energy, right? This what's coming into to happening here is taking you out of that, building you into the awareness that your faith and hard work and ability to give is being, it's kind of like the idea of the law of attraction, right? So what you give, you receive, and that's in all things. Okay, so whatever you've given into the situations that you've been dealing with, or whatever you have been given in the past, or dealt with in the past, or how you operated, was sort of being reflected back to you. At some point, there was a shift in which you then moved into the awareness, or you just started, taking the appropriate steps to operate from a space of understanding how you must operate in order to receive that in return. And this is like the payoff for that a little bit. Moving into that, it's like this is something, you know, this energy here is sort of being granted as a response to it's like receiving an A plus on a paper on an essay, you know, like you did the work, you know. And if you know how it works, like, right, if you have a homework assignment and you do really shitty on it, you get an F, you know. That's how life works too. You know, if you make a bunch of mistakes and then you expect to get an A plus in that situation, well, that's very naive of you to assume that you're going to get an A plus in life if you're making a whole bunch of mistakes. And so this is kind of like this, you know, perhaps you had a moment in the past where you were just, you know, not making the best choices for self, and were maybe going through an F period or a D or, you know, C minus, whatever. And now you are in an A plus era, moving into where, you know, it's kind of, you're being granted this, you know, new perspective, this new situation, this new what word was my brain searching for in that moment? This new situation, that is giving you a little bit more hope than maybe you had been experiencing previously. And it's good energy, it's passionate energy, it's sensual energy, it's come out and play energy, it's bringing in balance, it's fire, it's not bad, it's good. All right, group 2. I think that is all that I have for you in this reading. If this resonated with you, please do leave me a comment down below. And if you're new here and you want to hear more readings from me in the future, please like and subscribe. That helps my channel tremendously. Thank you so much for being here, group 2. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hello, group 3. If you chose this, whatever this is, look at me, look at where you came. This super knowledgeable reader who knows so many things. I don't know jack about crystals, and I ain't about to pretend that I do. I don't know what this is, I just know it's pretty. And if you chose this pretty crystal, this reading is for you. And I know that there will be somebody in the comments for probably every one of these readings who tells me exactly what this is. So what do I need to know it for? I'll learn from you in the future. Okay, what do we have for you, group 3? You have the 10 of Swords, Lord of Ruin. I don't know if that meant something to you, but that came into my head. The 10 of Swords. Typically, the way that I see the 10 of Swords is just an awful lot of burden being placed on you. You could feel just a sense of overwhelm in this moment. It doesn't feel super heavy, though, which is interesting that it's coming out as the 10 of Swords, because I really do feel like the 10 of Swords is one of the more anxiety-inducing cards in the tarot deck. It's usually being met with, well, obviously, I mean, he's got 10 swords in his back. So, you know, even moving in a space where he could have dealt with some betrayal. Let's get your energy, though, in this moment, see what's going on, okay? I'm going to pull from the Wisdom Oracle. Oh boy. Well, we're off to a great start, group 3. Oh boy. All right, what do we have breaking down for you? I do see that you have truth be told coming out here. Could be something, some honesty, or you're learning something, or you learned something that you didn't know. There's that never-ending story. This could be some sort of cycle. All right, let's see what comes out for you, though, okay? What is the energy here for group 3 so that they know that this is their reading? In between worlds. Everyone right now seems to be, whoa, really going into this transformative space. You have breathe as well. So I do feel like there has been something that you have been going through. You are in a space of, I would really say that you were in the dark and now you're waking up to something. What else do we have? No place like home, a message in a bottle. This could have something to do with some hang on, let me get out the rest of your stuff. Fork in the road, Treasure Island. Not for you. And chop wood. And then you have on the bottom of the deck all that glitters. Yeah, I think that you really have been seeing a situation, not necessarily for what it is. Kind of, it was like, it's more like your idea of what it was. And I think you were in the dark a little bit about this situation or scenario, not seeing the full picture. And it's kind of like bringing it back to reality for you, bringing it back home for you. There does seem to be some sort of absence in communication or a requirement of communication that needs to come into this space. I say that because chop wood is underneath the message in the bottle, and I haven't really been reading these as like, you know, where they're in line like that, but they, for your reading, they do seem to be like, this clarifies this and this clarifies this and so on. And so with chop wood underneath this message of the bottle, it really is like communication needs to occur here, or there's an absence of a communication happening in this space. There's a disconnect, especially where you have no place like home and not for you here. And this not for you card is really an interesting card because like, it's weird because it's like, she's holding up this like chessboard, right? And on top of it, like, what a weird card, right? On the, you know what? I haven't read this card in a long time. Let me read it for you, actually. I don't tend to read oracles, but I mean, that's just an odd symbolism, right? Holding up a chessboard with a fortune cookie in the middle of it, and then somebody in the line of vision back there, not for you. What is that all about? Let's find out. What is it? Number 6, not for you. Hang on here. Bear with me. Okay, so it says, essential meaning, a clear knowing that something is being denied you. Rejection is God's protection. There are times when it appears that no matter how deeply you desire something, no matter how hard you work at something, the result you seek always seems to elude you. It's as if you don't really get to be in the game, and you feel you're just watching from the sidelines. The appearance of this card indicates that you're not going to attain what you want right now, that indeed your dreams for that exact thing will not be fulfilled. This is a time to radically accept that not everything is available to you when you want it. Take heart, for there are benevolent forces who desire the best for you and have a much clearer idea of what is for your highest good. Rejection is God's protection. Something much better that will make you happy is on its way. Trust this. Okay. So this could be it's such an overlapping space here, because for some of you it's like you're like going back to maybe it's like an innocence or a different time, okay, of how you maybe would have seen something or a situation or the world around you. This could have, some of these cards could have a little bit to do with some inner, like, you know, childhood things that could be coming up here. I don't really want to bring that up all the time in certain spaces, but it is sort of wanting or expecting a different outcome than what I think you expected a situation or something to go according to plan or how you wanted it to go, and it's just not happening the way that you had wanted it to. And I think that's something that you might be waking up to, honestly, is that not everything goes the way that follows our expectation. And you're kind of being met with this crossroads where now you're having to look at a situation sort of from two lines of vision, where you had initially seen it one way and were operating in expectation, or seeing something for its potential even, or expecting something to occur a certain way and not seeing that in your reality. And now, because you didn't see that, and it's like having to wake up to this new way of looking at the situation. And it is this moment of being in a space of just having to, okay, it's moving into acceptance a little bit, having to realign yourself with how you see the situation, and possibly even see the things that you have been missing in this scenario that you haven't been able to see about either what you need to do or what you need to be accepting for yourself. Okay, so that is the energy. Okay, this is not the same energy that has been existing in the previous times that I've read for group 3. I don't know if there's been a shift. It's quite possible. Not that that's always the same collective in every reading, but typically it actually is. All right, we'll tap into Standard Tarot and see what it is that you have going on, or what this reading here is about. That way you know this is your reading, and then we'll tap into, advice style questions. What is going on in group 3? What is this reading about? What does group 3 need to hear right now? What is this about? What is this about? Maybe it is. Okay, bottom of the deck. You have the 7 of Pentacles. This is kind of like at the end of this, but I don't have room for it. So this 3 of Cups here. It just feels like there is this moment that whatever the situation is, okay, it's not just involving you. This is a situation that definitely involves another party, or even more than one party. There's multiple things that are kind of coming into this space. Now what's interesting is that I would normally see the 3 of Cups as a really like a space of celebration, and bringing in like togetherness in some space, okay? But really I feel like that is sort of the issue here in some way, in this, the way it's reading, is that it's more so of like, this is not a collaborative space right now. There's a disconnect here, even though this is like the ultimate outcome. And the differentiating energies is you have one energy that is quite a bit more, would operate more in a big picture thinking, and is able to look at sort of all the sides of a situation. And then you have this other energy that, albeit isn't necessarily a bad energy, is sort of looking at things in their potential, and not really looking at things as they actually are, and is operating far more from a space of expectation, and rather than seeing reality or even opening themselves up to the idea of a perspective outside of self. So it's a little bit of an energy that is while it is perhaps might even have some passion, it doesn't have direction. And it could even be in sort of, I don't want to say naive, but it's more so it could be from a space of like lacking the ability to kind of ground into what is happening in a situation, I guess. Something in that sort of, so within that dynamic, then this created a bit of anxiety, you know, a bit of a disconnect, a bit of worry, a bit of loss, or moving from even a sense of scarcity, of really feeling the loss of connection in this space, and then having to kind of go into really a period of self-reflection and going into a space of isolation, or sort of detachment in a way, or disassociation, and then kind of moving into even waking up to some sort of truth in this scenario, on something that we like. It's almost like an idea or perspective that we had thought for ourselves, and now we're seeing it in a bit different light, and kind of seeing like what we need to do, the work that we need here in self to come into being able to bring this situation into balance, because it is sort of lying upon you, the viewer, as being in the position of putting in the work. Now, it doesn't always, I mean, I guess for some of you it could be that, you know, perhaps this is something that you could even, the disconnect could be a little bit of you expecting this work from others, but then not providing it yourself, is kind of like, that's a weird way to unpack that. Welcome to Truth Tarot. Okay. But that is, it's more so of like, you could be seeing this from the other person's perspective, I suppose, but to me, and the way this is reading, has a lot more to do with your perception of the situation than it does with there are other, it could even that you're both operating in this way. That's possible as well. There could be just a lack of compromise that is occurring in this space, and there's work that needs to be done on both ends in order to come into a union space in this. But it is like there is an absence of fairness, really, and equality that is existing in this space. It's imbalanced. There hasn't been that in this energy. Okay, let's see. I guess if we can kind of narrow it down for you a little bit to make sure that you're in full understanding. Because this involves other people, let's go ahead and tap into what is going on with the other party. That way we can differentiate who you are with who that person is, in those Page and King energy. What is going on with this other energy surrounding group 3? What is the other energy thinking, feeling? What do they have going on? What is going on in the energy surrounding group 3? How are they viewing this situation? Okay, what is going on with well, what is going on with this other energy surrounding group 3? That was way too many cards. Let's do one more on the energy surrounding group 3. This person is very focused on their, like the energy that you're dealing with. If this is another person, they're very focused on their own stability at this moment. They might have a little bit of, they might feel a little, some type of way about this. They're really operating from a space that is, right, here's, so the energy that would be on the other side of this, okay, the energy here is, what they're focused on right now is really their financial wealth, I would say. They're far more focused on, building their own abundance. This could be something that is perhaps distracting them from this situation, but this is what their focus is. It's far more in that space. This is also, I just want to mention, this is Virgo energy as well, which earth signs tend to be a little bit more analytical too. So they could be in, you know, what they're working on is really sort of balancing out their own abundance. They also could be in a space of giving into things that really make them feel good as well, or moving in their creative mind, and you know, following their heart more so than allowing themselves to overthink about this situation in particular. They could have some not, I don't know if it's limiting beliefs that are but they do feel like they have been sort of, in some way, this other energy is feeling a bit wronged in this situation, and a bit perhaps negative, but I just really feel like they're disappointed more so than anything, and they're kind of withdrawing from this this situation, and doing so as well in a space that is requiring a bit of discipline on their behalf to kind of disconnect from this. So it is this space of just really choosing, making a choice. It's almost conscious. This doesn't seem like this is something that is subconsciously occurring within this other energy. It's more so that it is a conscious choice to not give to this situation, which is not great, honestly, for you, unless you know, unless you did something. I guess there's that. You know, there's always that possibility. If you feel like this person, you know, is in the right, then I guess, you know, however you want to slice it. Okay, group 3, you know the situation. I do not. But yeah, this person is just like very, it's almost like I said what I said, and that's that. And for them, they're working on something new. They're working on a new way of looking at things. I don't know if it's necessarily a new connection, but it's more so of like their individual power or passion, or some sort of new beginning or a growth that is occurring within this person is sort of what's going on. Is they're just moving forward then into looking at honestly, it's almost as though they're not actually really giving this situation too much thought, or allowing it to overtake their emotions or overtake their feelings, and instead are focusing on things that they are building for self. All right, let's get you some advice. I think for some of you, this is actually going to be flipped. Probably a lot of you, but I don't know. Okay. Let's get you some advice for this situation, group 3. What is the advice for group 3? Is it a world pop out there? You know, maybe perhaps like some kind of new beginning. 10 of Wands, I do feel like you feel a bit burdened in this space. All right, what is the advice for group 3, please? Advice for group 3. What is the advice for group 3? Okay. What is the advice for group 3? Group 3, do you take advice well? Just kidding. Just kidding. Don't cancel me. 10 of Pentacles. Perhaps you are intended to also focus on building stability. You know, what's interesting about this card is that there's like this masculine in the forefront, and behind him is like a child and a dog and all these other people. Is like when you, this being the head space, this person then has control of everything else around them. Knight of Wands. Perhaps you are also being intended to be a little bit more passionate about the situation. Maybe that was lacking in this. Is Six of Swords. There's that 10 of Swords again. Judgment is on the bottom of the deck. Okay. This is really inviting to go within self and consider, like, to it's almost like dissecting what is going on in this situation. What's interesting is, so with the Hermit card, okay, this card here, if this were a Hanged Man, it would almost be like divine intervention. It would be like you were placed into a pause to reflect. But instead, this is more so the advice of going, if this is causing quite a bit of upheaval, or you're feeling really maybe even attacked in this scenario, or you're feeling a lot of this weight coming down upon you, or this expectation of you, or just this energy of feeling really in a sense of betrayed, or like there's either something that you're walking away from or somebody walked away from you, you're kind of being advised to like revisit this, but internally, to look within self and to kind of see what happened in the situation and what your role in that was. Like what part did you play? Because sometimes this energy can tend to point fingers and look at the other party as like, this is your fault, and this everything that happened here is like, it's like deflection. You know, it's like looking at a situation and going, nothing that occurred here is on me and this is all on you. But actually, like right now, it's implying that, you know, if you are the viewer and you're resonating into this space, then actually the other energy is operating in a space of much more of feeling a little bit like they're no longer willing to deal with this energy. So when you look at that, then it seems like it's more so an indication that that this energy here is intended to really go within self and understand why that is, and understand the situation with a bit more clarity, and really dissect it. This you know, talking about judgment in particular, this is not always, it's a new phase, it's a new way of looking at things, but oftentimes it comes following something that is a little bit more harsh of a lesson, a little bit more cutthroat, I guess. Unlike things like justice that are kind of like bringing you gently into balance, judgment is like far more aggressive in that space. It's more of a gavel, you know, coming down upon you. And it isn't a bad thing always, but it is moving into this new understanding of a situation and understanding our individual role in that. It's like wanting to have this this 10 of Pentacles, where there's like this this full abundance, okay, but really not knowing how to navigate that not navigating it from a way that is a bit reckless. Even I would argue that the Knight of Wands is a little bit reckless, especially in this deck. So it could be, also it could be a space of placing kind of all of the burden into the other, expecting more than what we're giving, or all kinds of things that can exist in this space. Let me see. I'm going to put this down and see like what else we can provide you. The King of Pentacles. Here, what else we got? And really this King of Pentacles energy, I think, has a lot more to do with, I mean, for some of you, like I said, you're going to resonate onto this being the other person, actually. And then you're going to actually resonate into the spot where you felt like you were the other energy, right? Does that make sense? So flipping it around. But for this reading, and for really the viewer of this, it would be really an indication that you are intended to take some action to build that abundance. And it's not going to just occur, by expecting the other person to do all the work. This is also here, the Nine of Cups, like moving into this more, giving a bit more, building upon that like emotional space, taking control here a bit, to better understand the situation. The King of Cups and the Knight of Wands. Really moving into a space in which we're just giving more into this, being a bit more giving into this situation, giving into this person. It feels like what the energy has been a lot in this space is a lot more of like avoidance, or just seeing everything else as, again, it's like finger pointing a little bit, like I'm in this space because you did this. And I think that you're being actually advised to look at it differently, and look at it and ask yourself, what actions did you take in this to receive this outcome, and how can that shift for you? Okay, I know it's not the best reading, and I don't know how to end that. I mean, anytime that the message here is to self-reflect, I don't ever think that that's a bad thing. So I know that sometimes like the readings come in a certain way and we're not anticipating that, but that is sort of the message coming in for you. And again, for some of you, that could be the other person, or you could be mirroring one another. You could be both be in this energy. That's also a possibility. If you resonated with this, though, please, Group 3, leave me a comment down below and let me know that. If you'd like to hear more readings from me in the future, please subscribe to my channel. And something that helps the channel tremendously is liking the video. So if you resonated into any part of this, please like the video. Thank you so much for being here, Group 3. Enjoy the rest of your day.